assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, pakhair ragale, washmale, junashum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Well This Morning with Shaza Hashmi on a beautiful, pleasant and a little sunny Friday morning over here in the studios of PTV World Islamabad. Jummah Mubarak to everyone. I hope everyone happens to have a great day today. And for that, well, here's a tip. Of course, in the beginning of the day, first of all, make sure you have a very good and healthy breakfast and then surround yourself with positivity. If you don't have someone positive around you, well, of course, go to the internet, look for something that makes you happy, or probably think of a memory that makes you happy, or probably text someone that makes you happy, leave a compliment to someone, probably buy a small gift for someone. I mean, small things matter, right? That is what positivity means for me. Making people happy makes me happy. So maybe this is a tip that you can carry on for the rest of the day as well. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, here's the sad news. And like every other day, I am going to talk about it again. The pandemic, the coronavirus, ladies and gentlemen, it's been here for more than a year now. And well, I think it's safe to say it's not going anywhere, at least for a few months now. But are we better prepared for it as we were as compared to January or even March for that matter when it came to Pakistan? Not exactly, but we are probably more immune to it. That does not mean that we can move around without masks or probably, without maintaining social distance, because that is so important. This was probably yesterday or a day ago when the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, was talking to us. And he mentioned that, I mean, it's insane. About 25% of the population of Pakistan cannot afford to have 2 meals a day. It's probably really easy to be said, but imagine being that 25%. It's heartbreaking. So he said, of course, because of that situation of the country, we can definitely not close down all the businesses or the industries again. That's not going to happen like it happened back in March, where only the groceries and pharmacies were open. So it now literally depends on the public to take hold of the situation, be careful, follow the SOPs so that we can come out of it stronger again. I mean, the entire world is recognizing our efforts of how we fought it. And we should take that forward for us to remember how we fought it and for our generations to come, so they know that their ancestors actually did a great thing to the world as well. It's not really that hard, ladies and gentlemen. Trust you me. We can make it happen. We can, well, stop it at where it is and stop it from spreading as well. One more interesting thing. Again, we happen to say every other time that Pakistanis happen to be the most philanthropist nation ever. And it is true. It does happen to be so, because I personally know so many people who do amazing stuff just, for the people who are in need, of course, just for the sake of doing good things to people, not because it brings them any sort of profit, of course, not because they really want to probably show off, which happens in some cases. It is the mere satisfaction of helping someone and then God noticing that you did something for his creation. Isn't that just beautiful? And in April, actually, BBC put out a story about how Pakistanis are dealing with the pandemic. And the story writing was actually very beautiful, which captivated me. It spoke about Karachi and how even during the pandemic outside, crowded areas, people are standing with ration bags and, with cash to give out and whatnot. While they should be at home distancing, of course, they were wearing masks. So while they were helping everyone else out there to have a fine time and have all the groceries at their place, they were just asking each other to pray that the pandemic ends. I mean, this was sort of an act of, or a law of generosity, BBC termed it. And I really liked it. And it is true, I tell you, even so many months after the pandemic started, people are so generous till date. And luckily, I happen to have some amazing, generous people over here in the studios whose story I really want to share to inspire you, of course, to motivate you to do something better, and then to learn from them, myself as well as a Pakistani, on how we can do something good for Pakistanis too. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado and without talking anymore, I shall be introducing them to you. Well, first of all, he happens to be an entrepreneur, yes, but then he took time out and rather realized that this is one part of my life I need to give back to the community. And that's what he's been doing for more than 5 years now. He is now also a social activist. His charity runs with the name of Charity Doings. He's none other than Naveed Ahmed Malik. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum, Faiza. How are you?
I'm good. It's Shiza, but it's all right. Next to Naveed, ladies and gentlemen, we have someone who happens to, be in Pakistan for almost 15 years now. I'll ask him to correct me on that if I'm wrong. He used to run CDRS, he still does, but now he's in collaboration with Naveed over here, and together, both of them are doing amazing job. He's none other than a philanthropist who happens to be Todd Shea. Hello, good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Shiza. It's great to be on your show.
It's my pleasure, absolutely. So Todd, have you been in Pakistan for 15 years now?
Yeah, since the Zalzala, 2005 Zalzala.
Absolutely. How are you liking it to begin with?
I love the people of Pakistan. I could pretty much live anywhere in the world that I want to.
Yeah.
After the earthquake, I didn't know much about Pakistan. I came with a group of Pakistani American doctors.
Right.
And very quickly learned that all of the things that I heard in the media in America about Pakistan were untrue.
Propagandist.
Yeah, 98% of the truth
course.
they never tell over there. It's like 2% of the truth 100% of the time. A lot of bad news and things, and unfortunately demonization of the whole country and the people. And so I found it to be totally different. I fell in love with the people. And then, unlike any other country, I've worked in 15 other countries in disaster zones and things, and many different kinds of disasters. And no other country, after the disaster emergency phase was winding down, did the people invite me and ask me to come live there and stay there and help them. And so people from the Pakistan Army, from other NGOs, from the people in the villages, they asked me to stay. And so I stayed and created CDRS, and it's been running ever since, doing disaster relief and social welfare work.
Oh, perfect. That is amazing. So till date, all the charity work or the philanthropic work that you do is based to development and disaster management, is it?
Yes, and we do water projects, we do healthcare, we build schools. We don't really run schools because we're not educationists, but we're able to build them and help educationists with the logistics needs. We have animal welfare, we have youth community service, and we've done a lot of work with Ahmed Malik and Charity Doings in the COVID-19, feeding people who were affected by this economically, by the situation there. And so we're doing a lot of projects to help individuals who are poor as well with Ahmed Malik and his wonderful organization. It's all about collaboration.
Absolutely, and that is amazing. We'll definitely get back to that in detail. So now coming to you, should I call you Naveed or Ahmed?
Naveed.
All right. So Charity Doings, you started it about 5 years back.
That's true.
I think my first question should be, what drove you? Because, you know, for the youth of Pakistan, a lot of people, including me probably, when I was in my university or something, I would never think of returning to the community, right?
That's
you
true.
want to have everything for yourself.
That's true.
So what drove you?
So Shida, it's like we started this journey in 2015, and I started with I'll tell you, in the PIMS hospital, we were distributing this ration bags to the needy people, and at that very moment, something really, you know, affected me in a way that something you should do in your life that, you know, give some sort of a contentment and a relief to yourself, to your inner soul. So that's what actually drove me, that okay, if we can do something and it can, you know, affect a larger community, why not, you know, why not to carry on on with it?
Amazing.
So yeah.
So when you started it, what was it all about? I mean, what were some of the first projects that you were doing?
Okay, so Charity Doings have been doing the projects for the last 5 years, and of course with CDRS, with Todd Shea. We have been doing the community development projects for the water specifically. We have been, you know, making the water filtration plants and the water points in the different parts of Pakistan, from north to the south, Gilgit area, Balochistan, AJK, Tarnol, Fateh Jang. And other than this, we have been, you know, constructing the mosques ourselves with our team and all, with our donors. And as you can see in this year, Pakistan have been going through a COVID situation, and it's really affected the economy of the Pakistan. And you can well imagine what the situation will be for the underprivileged society.
Can't imagine.
Exactly. So for that, with the collaboration of CDRS, Mr. Todd, we have been doing the ration activities in all over Pakistan, and we have catered almost around 28,000 families, 28,000 to 2,800 to 3,000 families here in Pakistan.
Okay.
So we have been giving them the ration to them. Yeah.
That is amazing, and because, you know, this is the type of change we need, and this is the type of help we need, especially in this time as well. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if you don't know, for all of those people who don't know, water problems or water-borne diseases are actually one of the main issues in far-flung areas of Pakistan, be it interior Sindh for that matter, or some northern areas like you mentioned for that matter. Hepatitis just happens to be one of them, and the most common disease in the areas where, of course, there's no clean water to drink. One of the villages near my village, actually, somewhere around Sargodha, has a similar problem too. And I have met those people, and imagine leading a life, rather, where you cannot probably get clean water to drink or cook for that matter, or make tea for that matter. Just imagine, these are small things, and water is a day-to-day necessity. Exactly, you definitely need to think about that. So you tell me, Naveed, Is there an eligibility criteria or something for people to come up to you
Yeah.
and ask for help, or do you just go by anyone?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Faisal. So basically, it's like we do a complete authentication and a verification check before we take up any project. So for the individuals cases which we do, we normally focus on the projects which we can, make a livelihood for the family. Like for this any poor family, we can, buy them a car or Suzuki vehicle so that he can run it on a Cream, on a Uber, so that makes his own sustainable livelihood.
So rather than giving them a fish, you teach them
Exactly,
how
that's
to
true.
fish.
That's
Okay.
true. That's the thing. So primarily we focus on such individual cases.
Okay,
And yes, as per your question, we do a complete verification. Our team goes to that particular family. We ask questions. We have a complete forms made for it. And once our authentication check is complete, and once we know that this case is authentic, then we take on the case. Yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. So now coming back to you, Todd, I'm going to talk about this year particularly even more because of the pandemic, of course. So did you feel like, first of all, in terms of needs and in terms of the things that you were providing to the people this time around, do you think that this was like the people were hit massively, a lot of families, because when we talk about the people living below poverty line, the number is huge. How did you feel seeing those people and the number of people who were actually hit by the pandemic?
Well, it's one of the things about this COVID-19 is obviously the whole world was affected.
Yes.
So that
yes.
means that donations from people that normally would be donating to an effort like feeding people in Pakistan because of the economic fallout of COVID-19
Right.
pandemic, it also affected those donations
Of
because they were
course.
affected. So that was a big part of it as well. My organization is supported by mostly Pakistani Americans
All right.
because I'm from America and I know that community very well.
Yeah.
And they're very generous and kind and they love their country. So they did respond.
Of course.
However, a lot of our donors, they themselves, their businesses were affected. So it was a worldwide thing. So that had an effect on Pakistan as well. And then, of course, because it was not just one area, like one earthquake zone or one flood area, the whole country from, from the northern areas down to Karachi, from Chaman to Lahore, poor people, people that survive on daily income or monthly income, they were badly affected. So, food and water are the basic necessities of life. And when they couldn't even afford that, it became a real crisis. So we were able to, thankfully, like APNA, the Pakistani Physicians Group in North America, supported us. And we had a lot of other organizations and people there that did support us. So we were able to serve about 75,000 people, including the floods that happened recently and COVID-19. And with our efforts with Charity Doings and some other people, we were able to do a lot of good work all over. But yes, it was a highly it was a horrible situation.
Definitely.
Because it just, like the whole country, in fact, the whole world was a disaster zone.
Definitely it was. But, Todd, where you said that you probably did not get enough donations this time around. But, that really doesn't matter. The help that you provided, that really matters, right? Because you were helping families to come out of a time that was impossible, unpredicted, of course. And like you said, it was global as well. A lot of people have been saying throughout the pandemic that we're in the same boat, Well, we're in the same storm, I want to say. Both are different, you know what I mean? Some families are, of course, naturally doing better than the other. That does not mean that you should stop and, not help others because you will have not enough. I was just reading that the digital economy, of course, it is estimated to be 11 trillion by the next year. Imagine that. But the ones who were operating not digitally, they are completely shut down, right? So it's not just the people living below the poverty line that are deeply impacted, but everyone, everywhere around the globe that you said.
Absolutely.
Now, I have a question. This is sort of, not very scripted, I'm going to say, but I do want a genuine answer from both of you. You have been doing a lot of projects. Was there one particular project or one particular story of family that is really close to your heart, and why so?
As it relates to any of our work or
Any of your work, community service, basically.
well, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's so many, but one that comes to mind is there's a young man named Junaid.
Okay.
He's from Chakar up in Azad Kashmir. He was buried under the rubble of the earthquake in 2005 when he was just very young, like 5 years old, something like that. So we didn't find out about him until about 3 years later, when his father brought him to our little hospital that we had up in the mountains of Azad Kashmir. But the father said, "Hey, my son is paralyzed. Can you help them?" So we came to know that he had been buried under the rubble. When we looked at him, we found out he had contracted meningitis, and he had been injured, but he had not been treated for the meningitis. He had not been given the proper physical therapy for his injuries. So he, 3 years down the road, was in a bad shape. But we found out he wasn't actually paralyzed. So over the years, we have looked after his care. He's living with us in Islamabad. His brother is going to school with us, going to a boys' college. Junaid goes to a special school and he gets physiotherapy, speech therapy. And to see him be this little boy that was kind of just laid up in a bed, his family not really knowing what to do, up in an area out in the mountains where they didn't have facilities to really help him, to see him come to life and be a part of society and blossom, even though he's been badly injured by this the problem that he had, is one of the. I mean, he's like my little brother now. We've adopted him, and we have donors that look after him as well. So that's just one of the transformational cases that the difference that we've been able to make in him, his life, and his family's lives is something that this is what you do this work for.
Exactly, and just listening to it, it's so heartwarming. And I mean, you were the light to the end of his dark tunnel. Isn't that amazing? You literally shaped someone's life who probably didn't even have to will to have the life for that matter. This is amazing. And like you said, this is what you do it for, right? And this is the feeling. I mean, of course, when you're here, talking again from a religious perspective, don't take me wrong, but often I do find myself questioning myself, what must be the purpose of humans coming to the planet? And this is the answer, helping other humans. This is an entire test. And a lot of people are doing better than us, thanks to you guys for making us realize that. So, Mr. Naveed, which one happens to be the closest to your
Again,
heart?
I will say there are many, but if I have to boil it down to one single case of the project, I will say it was the Hassan Academy, the institute which is taking care of the special children with the special needs and the hearing disability. So whenever I go there in the institute, I see so many children, over there, and those are such a special children. I mean, even after their disabilities, they are coping up with all the, trying the level best to learn new things. And the best part of the Hassan Institute is that along with the education, they're giving them a skill set also. Like for the girls, for the boys and girls, for the girls, they're giving the swing, the training of the swing, how to sew. And for the boys, they are giving them training how to do the photography.
Oh, brilliant. So vocational training, basically.
Exactly, that's true.
That's amazing.
True. So later when they grow up, they can be they can, do a sustainable livelihood for themselves and for their families. So I will say that this particular project lies very close to my heart.
Well, all the best of luck for your future endeavors with
Thank
this
you so
one as
much.
well.
Thank you.
So both of you need to give me some suggestions or probably your understanding of how the 64% youth of Pakistan can actually make a change in terms of, well, a community service.
I will rather say this, that as you can see nowadays, the technology in 2020 is so, we have a social media, we have a lot of, applications which can be captured, or the works which we do, and it can be broadcasted in all over the world. So there are many groups out there, many, small groups who are not registered as an NGO, but they have taken up these projects of helping the people in underprivileged society in our country. So my message out there for getting the opportunity and coming to the media today is people should, pour in some donation with them, trust them, because these people are making a big difference in the society.
Of course, definitely. What about you, Todd?
Well, we have an organization within our organizational structure for youth. It's called CDRS Youth.
Okay.
We have 23 chapters around the country. And what we do with those chapters is we find these Januni youth, or they find us.
Right.
They contact me on Facebook. And, we have a period of kind of checking them out and seeing what they're all about and what they want to do. But we find those most dedicated university students or young people living in villages that are already really have a humanitarian heart and they want to do something, but they don't have the resources, they don't have the training, they don't have the organizational structure and setup. So we help them with all of that. And we connect them to donors, because there's donors in America who have money but no time, because they're busy with their lives and their families and their careers and their business, their jobs and all. And then we have kids here who have time and the will to do something, but they don't have any money. So it's a win-win situation. We can put them together because we're registered as a charity in America. We're registered here, so we're able to get funds to these kids and help them to become better leaders and to do better work. So anybody out there who's watching this, who would like to join CDRS Youth, they can contact me.
Brilliant. Okay.
I'm,
Do you have a website or something?
Website
you
is
wanna give out?
cdrsworld.org. CDRSworld, just like PTV World.
Yes, yes, got it.
cdrsworld.org. So they can contact me through that website, or they can look me up on Facebook and any number of ways to get in touch with me. And we're very receptive, my team and I, to young people that want to volunteer and really want to do something. So they can contact us, and we can help them do what they want to do. And you know what I find, the kids, they really, you know, these kids in Pakistan, they really love their country. They love their
Yes,
people,
true.
and they love Allah, and they want to serve their community. And the self-satisfaction that we get and they get from being able to actually do something that changes lives and transforms lives from one of hopelessness into hope and success.
Exactly.
There's nothing like that. So anybody out there, whether they're youth or whether they're 90 years old or 100 years old, if they have not helped others in this way, they've actually deprived themselves of something that is one, like you had pointed out, the reason we're actually here on earth.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is very beautifully put as well. But one thing we cannot let go unaddressed as well. This is a common sentiment. Of course, I'm not the first one talking about it. I happen to have a major problem with people posting pictures of their community work. I mean, for the purpose of inspiration, for sure. Why not? I mean, you can probably share the pictures of the ration bags, minus the people that you're giving it to. You can, I mean, I don't think it is necessary for a person to share a video, or a selfie video rather, of him giving out and handing things to people, recording their reactions. I mean, this is not the purpose you do these things for. What do you have to say about these people who do it only for the sake of limelight? And especially I'm saying this because I do happen to know people who, for the sake of making a name in politics rather, would do such stuff and then advertise it and whatnot. I don't go by it. I cannot stand it or even look at it. What do you think about it?
I completely second your point. And the way charity doing is handling this particular point is we never take the pictures of the beneficiaries. We always blur their faces.
Right.
So, we just take the pictures for the donors so that they can know that their money has been given onto the right location.
Yeah,
right?
that is important,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
What about you? Do you think
Well, I
this-
have a little bit different take on it.
Okay, okay.
So my take on it is that if you're presenting your work to people just for your own ego and to, you know, be a big shot, of course I would disagree with that. But there are cases where people being able to see what you're actually doing, it's not only inspiring, but it helps you get donations so you can do more work for more
That
people.
makes sense,
So
yes.
it's all about intention, but there's another important aspect that you should always, when you go to a community and you're doing any kind of work, you should always ask the people there if it's okay with them. And here's another thing. What we do is we ask them, and when we go to do an activity, there's people who aren't comfortable and we don't film them.
Okay.
But there are often people who want to tell their story.
Yes,
They want to get on camera and they want to tell the people what they're going through, what they need, and what their community needs.
All
And
right.
we're not going to deny them that right and that opportunity if they want to do so. So we very carefully ask and prepare them as to what the intention and what we're going to be doing with this piece of
Right.
content, and if it's okay with them or not, and do they have a story they'd like to tell. And often, almost every time, there's several people who want to tell their story and want to be seen. So it depends on how you do it and
That's
how
true.
you present it
case to
and your
case, yeah.
intentions that make it either haram or halal.
Absolutely and definitely so. Well, yes, intentions matter, and thank you for sort of correcting me on something. I never looked at it from a perspective of, well, collecting donors, you know, from inspiration was, yes, one thing, but what...
If you don't show your donors what you're doing,
Definitely,
then
I-
they
They
don't
won't
think you're
donate
doing
you
it.
then.
They
They
don't know
won't
you're
donate.
doing it.
Now I do
and then they
understand.
will not give you the funds.
I
So
get it.
it's the way that the way that you do it that really makes the difference on whether it's a terrible thing to be doing, inappropriate, or okay to do.
Yes, and if it's consensual, then why not? Like you said, that people want to be on the camera. So you guys, I think, needless to say, you are doing an amazing job. And this collaboration, I really like. I hope you go places. And I have no doubt on that you will. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for gracing my show early
Thank
in the
you, Siva.
morning. And for everyone watching out there, I really
been
hope...
an honor.
It's my honor, absolutely. And I really hope that, like myself, you learned something. And probably more than learned, like myself, you, well, got inspired. Stay tuned, because right right after this very short break, I'll be back with another amazing, amazing story. And for all the people out there who thought that maybe their business is going down, especially because of the pandemic, I might have some tips from you for you on how to save that. So stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, it's only me, Shiza Hashmi, talking to you and learning with you. Earlier in the segment, we were in conversation with some amazing people who are bringing about a change in the society by helping them, of course, especially in this pandemic where almost everyone needs help from each other, right? If not help, then support, definitely. So in the beginning of the show, I basically talked about how our premier has been talking about how we need to deal with the pandemic, how there are some families who have it harder than the others, of course. But he also mentioned one thing. He said that the Faisalabad industries that we have over there are actually at the boom of their exports. In fact, now the labor is less, there is more employment opportunities over there, which is a good sign, absolutely a great sign for Pakistanis, because why not? But now that is not the only case. There are, of course, two sides to the picture as well. I came across a story on a Facebook group of women where it was really sad for me to read. So this woman actually started a cafe with her husband probably 2 years ago, and they were doing good, mashallah, in a big city over here in Pakistan. And well, they were badly hit by the first wave of the pandemic. They, of course, couldn't manage the expenses, whatnot. But after a while, when the lockdown was eased, they opened up. It was getting back on track, and then the second wave came in. Everything had to be locked down again, and now they're out of business. And it was such a long, heartful note of how she put it in everything, you know, in terms of her saving, in terms of her energies and whatnot. And now there's nothing left to it. And it really broke my heart. It has been happening to a lot of people, not only in terms of jobs, I mean in businesses, but also in terms of employment and jobs. It's of course really heartbreaking. But then again, I mean, of course, when you are given a situation, you have to sort of come come up with an idea on how to deal with it. Then there are people who started home-based businesses in this pandemic while the lockdown was going on. And I think now this is the time for that to grow. I mean, home-based businesses and everything has to be online, because we did realize you don't have to go to an office space to actually be productive, right? And another interesting fact is that I came across another story where a husband and a wife together started a home-based business of colorful pastas. It's a small one, right? I mean, how many people are definitely going to be calling you every day for a red pasta or a green pasta? But why not? I mean, there are going to be days when people will be ordering from that. It is homemade. It is, of course, pure. It's so good to have. So these are some of the small ideas that people are lately coming up with, but how to sustain that? To start is one thing, but how to sustain that over I want to say, a dead period of a lockdown for so many months going on. For that, I actually happen to have a successful entrepreneur over here in the studios who I thought I should be asking, because her business, mashallah, she happens to have a family business and it's been doing good even throughout the pandemic. And more than that, she added some sub businesses, let's say, to it in terms of NGOs probably, or platform businesses, helping other smaller businesses in her area. So she is the perfect person to answer all my questions over here, and it'd rather help me and you guys in looking for suggestions how to sustain our plans and businesses. She happens to be an entrepreneur, like I said, also a corporate trainer. Roshane Asif Sheikh, all the way from Sialkot, let me mention that, for our show. Thank you so much for coming. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Shada? Thank you so much for having me over.
It's my pleasure, absolutely. So, Roshane, I did tell a little bit about you in the beginning, but to hear it from your mouth, other than the family business, of course, let us know about the work that you started doing for the people or the smaller businesses.
All right. So, primarily, as you said, I have a shoe manufacturing exporting company, and it's a family business.
Okay.
But apart from that, there's this NGO that I'm running. It goes by the name of We Grow.
All right.
And in that, we do a little bit of social work. For example, we provided ration bags to the needy people throughout the pandemic, right? And apart from that, we also aim to set up small-scale businesses for women in the city.
Set up, like start from,
that's the plan actually. So this idea was inspired back in 2019. I traveled to China, right? And it was like crazy because the women were working so much better than the men there, right?
Really?
I mean, I was in the market all day long, and I would see women dealing with customers much better than the men.
Okay.
And that inspired me that nation is progressing so much.
Absolutely.
And apart from other factors, there's this factor that women also put in a lot of hard work there.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever I can do to make that happen, at least in my city, I should go for that.
Okay.
So I launched this, I started this NGO with that aim to set up small scale businesses for women. However, I've been facing some troubles with that because, logistical issues with women, transportation issues with women. So, these are the things that we still need to cater to.
Yeah.
However, we do plan on doing that. But currently also, during this pandemic, we launched another company I have two co-founders with whom I started this company, Beanbags.
Okay.
And it's a co-working space in Sialkot. That's the first time that it's the first time that we brought a co-working space to the city. And the concept is primarily very, very new. I mean, in Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, the cities are full of other co-working spaces, right? But in Sialkot, this concept is very new. The culture is not there, and we're struggling to bring that culture because we think that it's very, very important, especially, after all of this revolution that IT is bringing.
Right.
And in that startup, we're also providing IT solution.
Brilliant.
And we have a huge network of freelancers, and we get the projects, and we have this network of freelancers. We get the projects done. So we are providing these services to the industry.
Oh, amazing.
Meanwhile, also have a co-working space.
And creating job opportunities for freelancers.
Yes,
as well,
absolutely,
which is
absolutely,
brilliant.
yeah. So we would want more and more people to come forward to join us. So, because right now the struggle that especially people in Sialkot are facing is that they do not get good services over there.
Oh, right.
So one huge issue there is that the sellers, they say, like, the people who do digital marketing and stuff, they say that people in Sialkot or people in Pakistan, they don't pay well.
Okay.
And in my experience, even the quality of services
It's not
is not up to the mark.
Okay.
We treat an international client with utmost respect.
Yes.
Right? and we would do anything to give them the best services. But when it comes to a local client, we do not give them those services.
Absolutely,
That
absolutely.
level of services.
Right,
So
and-
that is a huge gap. Sorry, please.
Yeah,
continue.
so sorry I'm cutting you, but Roshani, I think you're absolutely right. I don't know where this mentality comes from. Probably, well, we are post-colonial, but it does exist. And it really, really, I've spoken about it before as well, it really breaks my heart when something from Pakistan, like pink salt, let's say, right, Himalayan salt. I saw it actually in a small cafe in Amsterdam, and it said made in Pakistan. It made me so happy for that matter. I mean, I took pictures of it and I was sharing with everyone else there. But Pakistanis, some again, I'm not generalizing, would manufacture something in Pakistan and put a sticker of made in Switzerland because Pakistanis want to buy made in Switzerland. That is one thing. We'll definitely come to that. But Roshani, you know, while of course IT solutions is the need of the hour, you're doing an amazing job. But listening to your story actually made me want to go in another direction of our conversation. Belonging to a town like Sialkot and being a woman, mashallah, an independent one in terms of, well, you're running your own business and whatnot, did you have to struggle with the stereotypes to get out of it, first of all? And then you said, when you're talking about the We Grow that you talked about, you have problem with, well, of course, logistics and whatnot, and then convincing women. So this thing exists. So how are you dealing with that?
All right, so in my case, since, you know, I mean, my father passed away when I was very young and I do not have a brother.
I'm so sorry.
So that's fine. So we are like, we're 5 sisters, and my mom, she's
Mashallah.
also running the business. I mean, she took over the business after my father passed away. So in my family, this concept is very different, you
Yeah,
know.
of
I
course.
mean, initially a little bit of trouble. I had a little bit of trouble, very, very little. But then I convinced my mom. There were some issues, but we dealt with that. And now I think my family is the hugest support. So when you have the support, this kind of support from your family, I think you can, you know, the stereotype, it does not really matter to you. So now, like in a city like Sialkot, where most people would actually be a little uncomfortable, I don't quite feel uncomfortable even in a room full of men.
Oh, that's
as long as I know
amazing.
what I have to do there, you know. I mean, this is the confidence that I've gained over the years, and especially thanks to my mom and to like all those people who have been there throughout this time with me, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the other women are concerned,
Yeah.
you know, yes, we do face quite a lot of issues regarding that. But I think how I'm going to deal with that is through the network, network that we are trying to build. Like, there's so many people in the city who are trying to fight with this thing, who are trying to actually empower these women to get out there and to provide them facilities, even if they cannot come, bring those facilities to their houses. And then, you know, like digital marketing is all about that, right?
Absolutely.
For example, if we have a network of freelancers, they don't need to essentially come. So, right, with my idea of WeGrow, yes, I do want women to have their own businesses set up.
Yeah.
But if that does not work in that way, then at least there we can do something without even having them to move a lot.
Right, right.
So that's the plan. Let's see how it goes, but that's the plan I have in
Well,
mind.
good luck for that, because I really hope it, inshallah, in fact, it will go in the right direction. But now coming back to your IT solutions company. Tell me how it works, the process, how people can probably contact you if they do have a business and issues with it. Everything, please.
Right. So, you know, we have the website, we have the Facebook and Instagram page. It's very active. The website is www.beanbags.com.pk, right?
Okay. Beanbag
And
sounds like
beanbag.
literally beanbags.
Yeah, I mean, you know, okay, the weird part is we do not have beanbags there yet.
I was expecting.
Right, well, we'll eventually get that.
All
Don't
right,
worry, right?
all right.
So, but yeah, the concept was to bring a funky name. The concept of bringing a funky name was to
Yeah.
bring a little bit casual kind of setup in the city. You know,
Okay.
like right now it's all very professional, set like that, with such dresses. I mean, I always have to wear shalwar kameez at work,
Of course,
etc.,
of
etc. So, you
course.
know, the concept of that was to make a little bit of casual place. That's been actually what's been going around in the world now.
Right,
So
right.
we wanted to bring that culture, so that's why it's a funky name. So, but yeah, people can contact me on that website, and also we have.
So, like, what sort of issues are you catering to so that people know they should contact
All
you?
right. So right now we're providing digital marketing solutions to companies, right? So one huge issue that the export companies deal with is how to get a customer.
Okay.
Right? And what they do is they spend quite a lot of money, go to fairs, and, you know, just wait for somebody to come
Put
to
up
their stall.
stalls and
the
flyers
wo-
and
yeah,
whatnot.
and the worst part is that that those fairs are dominated by Chinese and Indian stalls.
all
You know, so
right.
that is a huge problem that we face. But even then, okay, they have to invest quite a lot of money to go to fairs, right? And that is the only thing. But now, since you know, we've actually moved to a very very different dynamics. Right?
Right,
So
right.
what we need to do is we need to embrace the technology. We need to embrace digital marketing.
Okay.
So that is primarily what I'm doing, and I'm trying to implement that in my company as well.
Brilliant.
The benefit that I have is that I belong from the industry, and my qualification is of software engineering.
right.
So that actually makes
a perfect
good
combo.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, I know what the industry requires, and I know that how to get it done.
It's
I'm not
amazing.
a very good coder myself, but I know how to get things done.
Okay.
So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make industry meet technology here.
That is amazing, and that is, like I said, the need of the hour. But now, Roshani, your own personal family business, Janix Shoes, right?
Rajik's shoes.
So sorry.
That's fine,
please,
that's
please, I'm so
perfectly
sorry. Rajix Shoes. So was it hit by the pandemic? I think not as much as, I mean, other businesses were.
All right, so I try to explain this to my company as well, that right now we've not been hit badly, but the effects are going to be there for at
And long
least
term.
1.5 years.
That's
You know,
true.
the second wave has come now. At this point in time, now that we are contacting people here and there, they are saying that, you know, people are going bankrupt in foreign countries.
Of course.
And where I see my company, I think I'm going to focus more on the local market right now, because it's not as badly hit, obviously, alhamdulillah,
yes.
as the international market is.
Absolutely.
So I think the need of the hour is to also find opportunities in the local market, because the international market is going to be in a bad position, as far as I think, for at least 1.5 years.
And Roshani, that is why you're here. So like you said, of course, you have to look for better options over here within the country. So like you did sustain, mashallah, your business well over the pandemic, there are a lot of people out there watching, wanting to learn from you how to sustain that. Do you have any tips for them?
Well, the first things first is that always have a plan in mind, and always get 5 steps ahead of time. I mean, in March, I remember specifically in March when the lockdown was just going to happen,
Yeah.
I had a meeting with my company and I said that it's going to be there for the next 1.5 years, right? So we need to start planning, we need to start reducing the expenses right away. We need to start hitting the markets that we think that might have potential. I'm trying to work on local companies now, not because of the current situation, but because of what's going to come. So I think first things first, plan ahead.
Yes.
And secondly, keep improving your skills. You never know what kind of skills you need, and especially in a, you know, what the problem here is that we trust people that they'll give us the services that we need without knowing what those services really are.
Oh,
I'll just give you an example.
Yes, please.
SEO, search engine optimization, I got it done twice or thrice for my company. Until date, I've not been satisfied of it.
Okay.
Like, you know, I don't get responses from the target audience that I'm looking for. So, you know, and because I did not know how to, what that service is all about,
Right.
so people could just tell me that we have done it, I'll be like, okay, I paid them, okay, it's done, but I'm not getting results out of it, right? So
Right.
now I'm actually focusing on learning it myself as well,
Okay.
and then having people to work on it, so that when somebody tells me that it's done, I know I can check it, how to check it, am I getting the responses, what am I actually here for?
Absolutely.
So, or yes, improve your skills and plan ahead. These are the 2 tips that I would really want to give.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, and thank you so much for actually coming here, bringing your expertise over here at my show, and then sharing with us as well. Roshani, you're doing an amazing job. You look amazing, mashallah, and all the best of luck for your future
Thank you so
endeavors. I really hope you keep doing even better
Thank you
from
so
now
much.
on as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like we always say, PTV World, in fact, World This Morning tries to bring something informative for you every other morning, so that being a responsible Pakistani citizen, you can actually give back to the community as well. I hope you did learn something from us, and if you did, let me know through my Facebook page with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, World This Morning without a G. You can watch our shows on YouTube with the name of World This Morning again. And the repeat of this show you can catch at midnight tonight. Till the next time, well, I'll see you on Monday, inshallah. Have a great weekend. Remember all my entire team in your prayers. Allah Hafiz, take care.